Also, I have my definitive lists for my favorite things of 2020, by the way. So let me share that with you. So I got movies, TV shows, music, and video games. All right. So that's what I got. All right. This is what this is what's happening. So first up, movies. My number one movie of 2020 was Tenet, because I literally saw nothing else. Moving on, category 2, TV shows. All right, number 5. I got How to Get Away with Murder, the final season. Now look, I know what some of you are thinking, all right, How to Get Away with Murder is kind of trash. And I'm like, low key, you're right. But at the same time, it's a really good show. And it had a really good ending, and it made me cry, so it makes number 5. 4. I actually don't have a number 4. Hold on, chat. I think I messed up my list. I think I only have 4. Never mind, that was number 4. Number 3, Umbrella Academy Season 2. It was just a fire season, a great follow-up, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Very entertaining. They play with time travel very, very well. Mwah! Phenomenal show. Number 2, it's only been on for 4 episodes, but it's automatically one of the best TV shows of the year. Attack on Titan Season 4 is absolutely incredible. It's been blowing my mind how in just only 4 short episodes, they've been able to expand the universe even more and tell an even more gripping, disparaging story about the fight for survival and the evils of propaganda and war, and it's incredible. Attack on Titan's amazing. My number 1 show of the year is, I know this much is true. Most of you have probably never heard of it, but it was a limited series on HBO starring Mark Ruffalo that was absolutely fantastic, and I loved it very, very much. The performances were incredible. The story is very gripping, and it's this heartbreaking tale about generational curses and taking care of those who can't take care of themselves. Beautiful story. Highly recommend it. It's on HBO Max. Music. All right, chat. My 5th favorite album of the year. Okay, this time it's actually 5. All right, it's actually 5 this time. I promise. Pull the Knife Out by 2. Their band was originally Nico Vega, which is my favorite band of all time. They disbanded and came back as the name 2, and they put out their debut EP, Pull the Knife Out, and it's absolutely incredible. It's a return to form for them, and I love it. Number 4, I got Modus by no, hold on, is that the name of the? No, Nectar by Joji. It's his sophomore album. It is a cut above everything he did on the first album. It is an incredible vibe. It is engaging. It's enthralling. Love it. Number 3, for albums, I got Shouts to Durham by G. Yamazawa. As someone who spent almost half a decade of his life in Durham, this album hits home for me in a way that I did not expect, to have such an attachment to that city. And G. Yamazawa this is another EP for him, but this is his junior effort, and I think it's absolutely incredible. I think it's better than his sophomore effort. And then, oh, chat, what is this? Let's see, where was I on this list? Oh yeah, I was listing off my favorite albums. Pull the Knife Out, Nectar by Joji, Shouts to Durham by G. Yamazawa. Second is Moonchild by Nicki. I just discovered her music this year. Absolutely incredible debut album by her. And then lastly, my favorite album of the year is going to be Run the Jewels 4 by Run the Jewels. The fact that this did not get nominated for Best Rap Album at the Grammys is ridiculous. And it's just proof that the Grammys are just a joke. And then the last category, chat, that we have for my favorite things of 2020, video games. Now this list, chat, I had to go back and forth a lot. I had to go back and forth a lot about what were my favorite games of 2020. And I really had to take a step back and stop thinking about the social angle of things and just think about like look, the best game that you played doesn't always have to be from a technical standpoint or what's critically or analytically the most engaging. The best games are just the games you had the most fun with. You know, the games that engaged you the most, right? So yeah, so that's kind of the idea I had in my list. So number 5, I got Hades. The game is just a stroke of brilliance in the way that it's able to do storytelling and the repeated death system. It's a great follow-up to Transistor, but so different in so many ways, and I love Transistor as well. But Hades is just this phenomenal combination of everything they've done right before. But I truly think them releasing the game in early access last year and getting that time to curate the game and develop it has led to one of the tightest gameplay loops I've ever experienced inside of a video game. It is so perfectly tuned to make you always go, okay, but just one more. Let me try one more run. Let me try one more time. And the way that they handle that is just absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. So yeah, I absolutely adore this game. This man's absolutely spitting. Yeah, Hades is incredible. And honestly, guys, the order in which these games are don't really matter. I personally recommend every single game on this list. But yeah, Hades is just, it's an incredible game. It's an absolutely incredible game. Number 4, I got Spider-Man Miles Morales. I know it's a shorter game. I know for a lot of people, some people it's just a hit or miss type of video game, but genuinely, that game left an outstanding impact on me. It is an improvement in every single way to the first game. But on top of that, the story of Miles Morales and how they make it a coming of age superhero story, but related to so many experiences in the Black community and the minority community, and this idea of, you know, constantly being under attack because of being viewed as less than or expendable by a higher power or by the system or corporations. It's just a powerful message that relates very, very heavily when you look at recent events of the last decade. It is to me a video game that is, yes, a very fun video game, but to me has a lot of subtext that is really, really important and speaks on some really great social issues and is a very, very engaging story, and I absolutely love it, on top of adoring the combat and the absolutely brilliant web swinging. So Spider-Man Miles Morales is absolutely fantastic, and it looks so good on my PlayStation 5. Number 3, it's a hard one to put at number 3, Final Fantasy VII Remake. I absolutely, positively adore this game so much. Final Fantasy means a lot to me, and especially in recent years, and I think that Final Fantasy VII Remake has something there for everyone, whether it's long-term fans, whether it's new fans, and even though they do some kerfuffling at the end with some, you know, very big-brained, like, you got to have the 400 IQ to understand the time traveling and parallel universes and blah, blah. Put all that stuff aside. This game, people don't talk about how good the writing is in Final Fantasy VII Remake. How good Barrett is written in this game, not to just sound like some over-the-top caricature of a black man, but be this genuinely broken man who's become a blend between a terrorist and a freedom fighter and all this sort of stuff. It's incredible. It's a truly incredible game. Sephiroth is awesome. I like him. Sephiroth is amazing in this game. Like, I've loved Sephiroth since I first was introduced to him in Kingdom Hearts 2 when I had to fight him as Sora, right? And Sephiroth has always been this iconic villain. But I think Sephiroth has as much to do in this game as he does in the original. Like, he is this amazing villain, this constant, like, all-encompassing villain that is, even though he is there as a physical threat, the way that he manipulates the situations that go on in this game, just mentally, incredible. It is absolutely incredible. That's why I love Sephiroth in this game. He is, like, maniacally on some Joker levels of mental gymnastics and manipulation and tormenting our cast of characters because he knows the events of the original game and the events of remake all in one. It's crazy. Kingdom Hearts 1 Sephiroth made me die so much, even at level 100. Yes. Yes. Kingdom Hearts, like, the Sephiroth boss battles birthed an entire generation of children who didn't know that deep down they were just waiting for Demon Souls to be released. Only a few decades, about a decade later, so. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Whether it's video game Donkey making fun of it for being too long. And that's the thing, like, I don't think the game is that long. There's a couple of parts that drag. I think when you're in like the Shinra labs and stuff like that, that stuff drags. Like, I think there's definitely stuff that's a little too long, but the overall length of the game, I think, is perfectly fine. I don't think they went the route of trying to doing the route that I was afraid of trying to expand, quote unquote, certain parts of the original that were just completely unnecessary. To me, every single decision they made was to make the characters better or to make the story more engaging for what they were doing. That's for most of the changes that I saw. But yes, video game Donkey. He do have the memes though. He do have the memes. But yeah, absolutely love Final Fantasy VII Remake, and also the score. Bruh. I ain't even gonna say that. The score is fantastic. My second favorite game of the year. This is a hard one. It's a hard one to do. Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima is absolutely, positively one of the best games I've ever played on the PlayStation 4 as an exclusive. It is jaw-droppingly incredible. And I don't think the game gets enough credit for how good that story is. It is a better revenge story than The Last of Us Part 2. I know. That's blasphemy to say in the PlayStation community, but I think so. The consequences of revenge and this never-ending cycle of hatred is so beautifully rendered in this video game. On top of almost completely eliminating what we call ludonarrative dissonance, which is a big fancy word for saying the actions that I do in this video game don't feel like something my character would do, right? I'm trying to think of an example. Like, say how you have an open world game, like I don't know. You have an open world game and your quest is to kill the guy who killed your family, but then all of a sudden you're like, oh, there's a mini game where I can collect as many bird eggs as possible and make the ultimate omelet. You know, where you have something where it's like who would actually do that? Oh my gosh, Ariel Aguayo. Is that how you pronounce that last part? But Ariel, thank you so much for the follow. But it has this it gets rid of that dissonance. Every single thing you do as Jin in that game makes sense for him to do it, right? Everything is just so engaging because everything is written to expound upon who he is. A lot of people want to criticize Ghost of Tsushima because they say Jin as a protagonist is very closed off and reserved. But if you pay attention to the voice crack that I just had, or if you pay attention to the story, you end up realizing that it's because of the way he's raised. If you look in the flashbacks, he's much more emotional as a child. But if you want to internally figure out what he feels about a lot of things, you have to do his side quests and the collectibles and the bath springs and all that stuff. It's things that are collectibles and are things to fill up stuff in the game world. But those are the only times, and with the haikus, that you actually get a sense of who he is internally, because he has to bottle every single thing that he feels emotionally inside, and it's ripping him apart. And you only find that out if you're doing the side quest. And on top of that, they just dropped boom, hey, here we go, multiplayer. Sway. Sway. I ain't got the answers for that, Sway. Let's see here. It's a classic samurai revenge story, bro. I feel that. Yeah. It's classic. It's classic as a revenge story. But I think it doesn't shy away from giving you that like that just revenge. Like, not to spoil anything for anybody who's played it, but even though you think you get your revenge, you still have consequences afterwards. A lot of innocent people die because of your character and your choices that you make. And at the end, there's still a really big choice at the very end of the game that you have to make that is a complete and direct consequence of your actions that you take as a character. So, yeah, I think the game has a lot more layers than people give it credit for sure. Let's see here. I didn't like The Last of Us Part 2. Hey, it'd be like that. And, like, here's the thing. Like, if I were to have an honorable mention section, I would have Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It is like... It's like they learned from every single mistake they've ever made with these past 2 games and fixed it. It's a great game. I'd put The Last of Us Part 2 as an honorable mention, just for the simple fact of, from a technical standpoint, it is one of the most insanely detailed and graphically impressive games I ever played. And the fact that I literally did not encounter a single bug besides like collision detection, is insane. Granted, they literally work their employees like slaves over there, and so it kind of feels icky enjoying the game. But yeah, I mean that is the high quality that ended up coming out of very questionable development for sure. But my favorite game of 2020. Persona 5 Royal. All right, chat, listen. I know. Look, hear me out, chat. I know. Persona 5 technically has already come out before, but in my personal... Chat, listen. Hear me out, chat. Listen, chat. In my opinion, Persona 5 Royal feels like a different game, baby. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. It's absolutely insane. It is everything I love about the first game. Everything I love about the first game. And the original iteration of it. And they made it even better. They made the combat even better. They fixed so many different, little quirky issues we had with it. The game soundtrack slaps even more. More Persona, more features, more story that's interwoven into the whole entire experience. Chat. I'm sorry, but that's just an automatic W. Now, if you don't want to count that, which is fair, because Persona 5, technically in some form of iteration, has already existed as of 2016, I think. So that's fair. 2016, 17, whatever. So I understand that if you don't think it counts, chat. In that regard, Ghost of Tsushima is my #1 game of the year. That's fine. But I do have to say, though, absolutely love Persona 5 Royal. It's my favorite game of the year. It's absolutely fantastic. And it almost came out on my birthday, so I love it. All right, chat. I just had to, you know what I mean? Had to have a 1-to-1 with you about that, chat. Let's see here. 20 hours is like a speed run. Exactly. And people are clearly like, we beat Cyberpunk in like 20-25 hours. I was like, you must have been just like holding circle the whole time. Like, I don't know. Let's hear. Oh, I've been playing for almost 50 hours. Just side missions. Yeah. Technically, Final Fantasy VII came out before too. I mean, well now Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now this is a big difference. Like this is a big difference. You know what I mean? Like, I would question it. Maybe you could bring up some things about like Demon Souls, but like, homie, when your code is different, it just hit different. You know what I mean? It just hits different. I don't know. But yeah, Persona 5 Royal is definitely my favorite game of the year. To be honest, a lot of games were whack this year. A lot of games were really whack this year. Oh man. Oh. But that chat room concludes everything that I liked in 2020. That's it. That is my TV shows, video games, movies, albums, I think that was it. I think that was the only 4 categories I had. I didn't have a food tier list prepared. I'm sorry, chat. I know I'm bad at this. But yeah, those are the things that stuck out to me.